Hello everyone, welcome back to my Unreal Engine tutorial series on how to create an open world game. So today what I'm going to show you is, as you can see in the top left corner, there is a animated health bar and a rage bar, and the animation in the rage bar is not very visible. That's because it's a little smaller compared to the health bar, and you can clearly see the animation in the health bar. So and also there is a little gradient effect as well. So that's what I am going to show you today. And here is a closer look to the health bar and rage bar as well. And like always, this episode is sponsored by these generous Patreons. Thank you very much for the support you guys are giving me. Okay, so let's start with the green health bar. So how to animate this and how to implement this and how to animate this. So let's first recreate this in Photoshop and try to understand how can we replicate the same method in a UI material in Unreal. So first I'm gonna get this, so a bubble texture like this, and I'll paste it here. That's too big. Let's make it roughly the same length, same size as this one. Okay, right. Now we have this bubble texture, and then I'll add a layer mask here, and I'll select roughly same area as this one, like this, and select the mask and select the mask here and do invert selection. I'm not a Photoshop expert, but I'll just show you the way I'm doing this. And shift F5 and fill this selected area with black. Now you have only this area, and then let's add a color overlay with the multiply option. No, that's not the way. Okay, again shift F5. Let's create a new layer, and then I'll fill this selected area with a gradient, and this is the color gradient I'm going to use, like this. No, that, like this way. Okay, and then let's select multiply here. Right, now we have the same effect. So now how can I animate this? So let's try animating, not really animating, simulating the animation here, just to see if that would work. So I'll disconnect the link here between the mask and the layer. This is that layer, bubble layer. I'll call it bubble, and I'll select this move tool. Where is that? This one. And with the arrow keys I can move the layer below. So as you can see, now this looks like bubbles are going up. So, and this is the end of that layer. And so if I loop this upward movement, in a material. I think that would look cool for the health bar. Okay, so to simulate this, implement this effect, all I need is this bubble texture. I'll disable this layer mask. That, and how can I export this one? Let's create a new 512 texture resolution, and paste that image. Let's enlarge this to fit properly. And I need this to loop. So how can I make it loop? How can I make it not loop? What are called? Seamless. Well, let's worry about that later. For now, let's focus on implementing the effect. So I'll duplicate this layer and move it up. Okay, so this is the bubble layer. I'll save this as bubbles. Not, I need a PNG. Right, so this is my health bar widget, and here I have to create a new material to replace this plain color. First I'll make this green color a little bit transparent, like 0.3, so that I would be able to see through, and I'm going to use that bubble texture behind for the background bubble material. So this is the health bar folder. I'll import that newly created texture into this folder. Okay, and I'll create a new material. M bubbles. Oh, it says 𝐒𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻𝐵𝐻. Okay, and let's change this material domain to user interface. Right, and let's drag and drop this one like this. Okay, correction, I should not use this material for the background, because if I use it for background, then even when my percentage fill is 0, the background will have bubbles. So I only want bubbles only for the filled area. So I have to use that for this one, this part, the fill material. Okay, now we have the bubbles here, and using a panner I can move this texture upward, or X direction or Y direction. And to move this upward, I can do this: get texture coordinate and I think I should increase the tiling, the vertical tiling of this texture. Not really. So for now let's do it like this. We have this texture coordinate and we can use a panner and time. I can get the time like this, and for the speed I'll keep the x speed to 0 and y speed to 0.1. Okay, now it's moving upward. And so how can I make it green? Well, without actually I have a little bit of a gradient here, but let's implement the gradient later. For now let's multiply this with a color. Promote to a vector parameter color, and color should be green, like this. Okay, now this is the color. So how can I apply this to this one? Help, I think it should be here. Okay, here. So let's drag and drop this bubble material here. Okay. Alright, I have to apply this. Okay. Yeah, now you can see this, but it is not exactly, it doesn't exactly look like this one. We can fix that problem using tiling. So let's multiply this with vector 2 vector parameter. Let's call it tiling, and here only matters okay, how can I convert this to vector 2? Okay, here I'll keep this one to 1 and this one to 1 and see. Okay, and the G, it should be the vertical tiling. Let's increase it to 5. Yeah, that seems correct. Now let's see. Still it doesn't look right. Let's do it like this. Float 2, make float 2 right, and let's promote each of these two parameters like this, and the default values should be 1 and 1. I'll increase this one to 5 and apply, and let's create a material instance here. M healthbar. Since this is a material instance, I'll use mi, and let's put it here. Right, so these are the proper the good values. for x 5 and for y 1. That looks better, as you can see here. Now let's create a new material instance of the same material for the rage bar as well. Let's call it mi rage bar, and the color should be red instead of green, like this. Yeah, okay. And I'll drag and drop this one into here. Yeah, good. Now you can see the both sliders have the animations. Let's compile it. Right, now the only missing part is this gradient. So how do we achieve this gradient effect? Well, for that, let's create a new texture. It doesn't have to be 512. The width, it is it 1 is enough for the width, but to be clear I'll use 10, and height let's keep 512, and let's create a gradient here from black to white like this. Okay, let's save it as gradient png, and let's import that into our project. Like this, and let's open the material again and import this one here, and we can do a multiplication like this. So yeah, as you can see, now we have the gradient effect, and apply, and where is this? Yeah, maybe if I use, you're not seeing the gradient effect here, so I'm not sure why is that. Maybe we can do a different tiling for this one. Well, let's apply the same thing. No, let's try that. And okay, let's see here. No, it's nothing happening. Right, let's duplicate this one and apply. I don't want to change this, but still I'll keep that. The default value should be 1 here. Okay, let's see. No, still not. Let's try changing this value to something like 5. Alright, somehow it works. Okay, anyway, so let's do the same thing to the rage bar as well. 5. Yeah, now it also has the gradient effect. The downside is bottom side is darker, and upside is more lighter. Let's change the colors a little bit. so that it will highlight better. Yeah, now this looks cooler, so let's see how it looks. Okay, this is much better. And that's all I want to do for today. And as always, I'll upload the latest updated source code into my Patreon page, and if you like to support my work, you can get the membership of my Patreon club. And depending on the membership tier you join, you will have different privileges as I have explained here. And see you in the next video. Goodbye.